The air hung heavy with humidity as I approached the imposing building. The Franklin County Welfare Office, a place I had come to dread, but necessity dictated my visits. It was a Tuesday, much like any other, filled with the same anxieties and hopes for a smoother process than the last time. Little did I know, this day would be anything but ordinary. The waiting area was a tapestry of human stories, single fathers bouncing fussy babies, elderly folks lost in thought, young couples whispering anxieties about their future. A symphony of coughs, sighs, and the rhythmic tapping of feet filled the air. The smell of stale coffee and disinfectant hung heavy, a constant reminder of the building's bureaucratic purpose. I took a deep breath and joined the queue, clutching my worn-out handbag, a beacon of hope and despair all rolled into one. The weight of the situation, the endless paperwork, and the judgmental stares, it was a familiar burden I carried every month. Today, however, it felt heavier, more ominous. The security check was a ritual. Empty your pockets, step through the metal detector, collect your belongings. Simple enough. I'd done it countless times before. Yet today, the air crackled with an unfamiliar tension as I approached the imposing metal detector. The guard, a burly man with a bored expression, waved me through impatiently. I stepped onto the designated spot, my heart pounding a steady rhythm against my ribs. Beep! The metal detector wailed, its red light flashing accusingly. I froze. I knew I had nothing on me. No phone, no keys, no belt buckle. Nothing but the clothes on my back and the hope dwindling in my chest. Confusion clouded my features as I looked at the guard, a silent plea for understanding in my eyes. "Ma'am, please step aside," he barked, his tone brooking no argument. "Spread your arms and legs." His words were sharp, laced with suspicion. Fear, cold and clammy, began to tighten its grip on me. "I don't understand," I stammered, my voice trembling. "I don't have anything on me." The words felt hollow, lost in the vastness of the echoing room. The guard's gaze swept over me, his expression hardening with each passing second. "Step aside, ma'am," he repeated, his voice louder this time, attracting the attention of others in the room. Whispers erupted around me, curious eyes burning into my skin. I felt a flush creep up my neck, my cheeks burning with shame and indignation. "You need to calm down, ma'am," the guard said, his hand hovering near his holster. "We have reason to believe you might have an explosive device." An explosive device? My mind reeled. It was preposterous. What possible reason could they have to suspect me of such a thing? Panic swelled in my chest, constricting my throat. I opened my mouth to protest, but no sound escaped my lips. Two more guards materialized beside the first, their faces grim, their postures radiating an air of authority. They closed in on me, their movements swift and practiced. I felt a surge of adrenaline, a primal instinct to flee the suffocating situation. "I didn't do anything!" I cried, my voice cracking under the weight of their suspicion. But my pleas fell on deaf ears. They grabbed my arms, their grip like vices, and tried to restrain me. Fear morphed into blind panic, and I struggled against their hold. This couldn't be happening. The world spun into a dizzying blur of motion. A sharp, metallic snap pierced the air, followed by a jolt of pain that shot up my wrist. I looked down to see the cold, unforgiving steel of handcuffs encircling my wrists. Just as quickly as it began, the struggle ended. The weight of the guards' bodies disappeared, replaced by a stunned silence. I looked up to see a tall, imposing figure in a sheriff's uniform standing behind the guards, his expression unreadable. "What seems to be the problem here?" he boomed, his voice commanding attention. The guards stammered, their earlier confidence replaced by uncertainty. They pointed at the handcuffs dangling from my wrists, their expressions a mixture of shock and disbelief. "The handcuffs, they just broke," one of the guards finally managed to sputter. The sheriff's gaze shifted to me, his eyes narrowing slightly. I met his gaze, my own a mixture of defiance and terror. "Ma'am, are you all right?" he asked, his voice surprisingly gentle. I could only nod, too overwhelmed by the whirlwind of emotions swirling within me to speak.